Mixed martial arts, or MMA, is the world's fastest growing sports league. MMA is watched in 155 countries, in 22 languages, and is available on more than 1 billion TV sets each week. Originally billed as having no rules, it features techniques from many combat sports and different martial arts disciplines. The only way to win is to knock out your opponent, force them to tap out, or by the decision of the judges. Training for an MMA competition demands many years of dedication and practice. It takes skill and commitment for a fighter to learn the different MMA techniques and how to best use these for fights. They start as amateurs and slowly work their way up to becoming professionals. The sport is tough, and the fighters are even tougher. Being an MMA fighter is certainly not for the faint at heart. If you want to learn to be an MMA fighter in Australia, one of the best to talk to is Richie Cranny. Originally from London, Richie has grown up watching, training and teaching people how to fight. He has a 3rd degree black belt in Pro Mai MMA and is a chief instructor and international Pro Mai examiner. He's also a qualified Certificate 4 master trainer and boxing coach. In Australia, he is one of the go-to guys to learn how to be an MMA fighter.
I'm trying to make MMA more accessible. You know, at the moment everyone kind of feels it's one of these sports that's for elite guys, and for MMA to grow in Australia, I want it to become more of a mainstream sport, and Wimp to Warrior is going to hopefully accomplish that in some way.
So he came back to the gym one day, he flung the door open and he goes, Rach, I've got an idea. He said, you have to listen to this.
So I was going to bring one person in, advertise on Facebook, take someone extremely ordinary, not some fit guy that trains all the time, someone that's maybe knows a little bit about sport, and train them one-on-one, 6 months, boom, in a cage, away you go. That's the plan.
Great idea, but fuck, it's never going to work.
I really thought this would be a niche thing, you know, a few people that knew about MMA or wanted to get into it, but there was so many responses coming through. It was coming up into the hundreds, and I was thinking, what are we going to do? So the idea I spoke to Rach about was, why do this with one person, where can I do it with 20 or 30 people?
I got on the Facebook, had a look what it was about, I thought it was great, and got in contact, and unfortunately there'd been you know, a heap of people apply, and he said, oh, we've got enough at the moment, you know, and I just kept pestering him every day, sending emails, saying I'm keen to try out, you know, if someone drops out I'll be there, and I think eventually he just gave in and said, all right.
Been interested in MMA for a while, like it is just purely as a fan, never done it before or anything. It's a bit crazy, but yeah. I thought I'd give it a go, see what it's like.
Just looked at some of the coaches and they're all sort of the best in the country, and it just seemed like such an opportunity.
But then I started getting these emails from these females saying, you know, what about girls, what about girls? And I was like, oh, you know, maybe Series 2. There was a couple of particular girls that kept emailing me saying that, you know, please let us come to the tryouts, please let us come to the tryouts. So I buckled.
And I saw the advertisement go up and I thought, that is cool. And then when I read about it a bit more, I realised it was actually for guys only. I thought, no, that's really unfair. I want to do it, and I reckon I could go give it a really good shot. And evidently there were quite a number of girls who felt the same way.
And there were lots of comments for the Facebook post, and a lot of females responded saying, you know, this should be, you know, girls can do this as well.
On Monday, put it on Facebook. By Friday, we had over 400 responses. So I decided to shut the page down, announced it on Facebook, and then I sat there, I printed off all the applications and the emails, and then just started sieving through. So what I was trying to do is try and find the people that I could really change Wimps to Warriors. I sat there and I just printed off all the emails, and then I just started slowly going through them, and to see, you know, what kind of people were applying. And then I kind of realised that it wasn't just who you'd think it wasn't just guys that were sort of mid-20s. It was males, females, people that are 18, people in their late 30s. There was a couple of guys in their 40s. I was like, this is insane. And then we basically collated 50 of the people that we thought we could really work with and really change. And that's when we decided to call these guys in for a tryout.
It's Saturday, 26th of May. D-Day for 50 Wimp hopefuls, and Richie is briefing the team.
Okay guys, tryout time. Okay, we've got 50 Wimps coming in, okay, over 2 days. Today, tomorrow, we've got 4 sessions. We need to whittle these guys down from 50 to 32, okay? I need you guys to be in their face constantly. It's pressure, pressure, pressure. I don't want any rest of these guys. We've split them into 2 groups, one group in the MMA room, one in the strength room from here, and we're just gonna smash them. Don't wanna see people fail. Then pick them up and get them to go again. So don't get up, they're out. Simple as that. Okay, we've got to get 50 to 32 and then we start 32 in a couple of weeks. It's all about making wimps to warriors. So I don't want the fittest guy in the room, I want the guy that we can change into the fittest guy, make him a warrior, okay? I actually assessed the guys when I pulled up in the car. It was quite funny. I got there and a lot of the guys had travelled like all night to get there. Like some of the guys had travelled down, got the overnight bus from North Queensland, South Australia. So by the time I got there, there must have been a good 30, 40 people huddled outside the gym. And I pulled up, locked my car, and they all looked over and started clapping, which I thought was quite funny and a bit embarrassing. But anyway, I come over and some of the guys come straight up to me, introduced themselves, shook their hands, and then some were quite timid and reserved and sitting at the back, and they were the ones I was looking out because, you know, Wimp to Warrior for me is about trying to bring out the confidence of people. You know, someone that comes up to me in the street and is quite confident, come over and shakes my hand, and you know, that's not necessarily the person that I want. I want to try and inspire these people to become confident. So the people that were a bit quiet and stuff at the beginning, and even when we went in the gym, they were kind of sitting out the back, weren't really mixing. They were the people I really wanted to keep an eye on during the tryouts. Welcome, Wimp to Warrior guys. My name's Richie Cranny, I'm the head coach of Wimp to Warrior. I'll explain how it's going to work, but basically I'm taking people that are everyday people, not profilers, not had much experience or no experience. Some people that applied have done nothing before and then thrown a punch. It's a crazy hatch plan that I come up with a couple of months ago. Is now all these people wanting to come down and basically dedicate themselves for 6 months, which is brilliant. Like I say, it's all about growing the sport. It's not about anything else. It's about making MMA bigger and more acceptable in Australia.
What are we in for? What are we in for? There's a lot of different people, shapes and sizes, and you know, I think everyone was sort of looking at each other going, oh, you know, sizing each other up.
I'm nervous. I have no idea what to expect. It's gonna hurt, probably.
Right now, just kind of a bit nervous, but also kind of really excited for the opportunity.
I'm excited, a little bit nervous, but really excited for the challenge, expecting a big workout session to get absolutely smashed.
You know, I felt sorry for them because I knew what they were in for.
Back up, let's go.
This is a mental game. This morning is all about how mentally tough you are. I know what I can do to somebody's body physically, but it's whether they are mentally tough enough to push there.
Basically, I think they just wanted to make you quit. At any point in time, that's what they were looking for.
Oh, that's it.
I was more testing mental strength than anything else. I needed to see that they could keep pushing, despite the fact that somebody was going to be up in their face. And, you know, some of these guys were big guys. How are they going to react to a girl telling them what to do? Like, you know, we needed to basically see the difference between somebody who could go the distance. One person that really surprised me was Sonia. She came in completely deconditioned. I don't think she really knew what she was getting herself into. Mick and I really got into her, and she just kept going and going and going. Like, this girl was pretty invincible, and I think Mick would agree that she was just picking up things really, really quickly as well. Like, I'd love to have her on my team.
There was guys that, that looking at them, I knew would have to bulk up. There were guys that would have to lose a hell of a lot of weight, and there were guys that just physically didn't look as if their bodies could withstand the kind of training that was in front of them.
All right.
Honestly, it's just, I know I'm not the best in shape, and kind of when it came to it, my lungs just started burning, and then all of a sudden on the second exercise, my head was just spinning and my legs just gave out. I just couldn't keep going.
I kind of want to assess physically where they're currently at. We're using basically the top 5 big bang movements to assess movement, not just to assess strength, but also movement too. I get them first of all to do a bodyweight squat, or ass to grass squat as we say, and the reason I do that is because by getting somebody to drop their hips below parallel, I can see the range of movement at their ankle, their hips, their knees, and then also their mobility and their ability to keep their thoracic up. And that tells me a lot. It doesn't just tell me about the range of movement, but it also tells me about their strength as well, especially if I get them to hold that bottom position. I needed to see who was very capable, and those people who were very capable would just clear them off the list. Those who weren't quite so capable, I would mark that down, and then we went through a series of other movements and lifts so that I could see that if it is possible that I can work on these things.
And I remember Coach Rachel saying to me, "Tom, jump on that weight there and give me a deadlift." I looked her straight in the eye and I said, "What's a deadlift? Oh my God, like, what have I got myself involved in?"
One of the guys, Jack, he said something I couldn't believe. He told me that up until last night, the night before the tryouts, he'd never actually watched an MMA fight. You know, he'd heard about it, kind of knew roughly what goes on, but he'd never actually watched to see what literally happens. And I couldn't believe that. I thought people that are attracted to Winter Warrior would be fans of the sport at least, or dabbled with it, or tried it, or friends done it, but he had no real clue. And I just thought that was unbelievable.
Yeah, I can't say I've watched any mixed martial arts before, really, so not familiar at all. I mean, I knew it would be intense, but it's a whole different thing to kind of hear about it and then to watch it and see what I've actually gotten myself in for.
I've always loved MMA, and it's not readily available from while I was living back in New Zealand.
I get to fight in the cage if I make it through. So it does mean a lot to me whether I make it through the tryouts today.
From what we've picked today, it's not the final, but we've slimmed it down because we had 52 in for the tryouts, and I'd like to take 32 through. 32 is the number I picked because I believe we're going to get. There's going to be a cull. I'm going to be knocking people off for whatever reason, and I think people will get injured, and there'll be some people that are just a few weeks into this, they're going to decide it's not for them. So I'm aiming to finish the series with 20 people. So there's 10 fights. So I think 32 is a good number. And look, this is completely experimental at this stage for me. It's the ultimate human experiment, but it's the ultimate human series experiment as well. So I'm hoping that's how it's going to work out. In the next 7 to 10 days, I'll announce on Winter Warrior Facebook page the names that I'm inviting back for the first stage. Anyone to step in the cage needs big balls, male or female. Basically, people can sit there and judge and shout comments at people that are fighting, but unless you've done it, you've got no right on giving your opinion on these guys. So I think these guys are going to go through a massive journey. And look, fighting, I truly believe fighting is 80% mental and 20% physical. The physical we're going to get, but most of this training, the warrior is a mental, it's an inner thing. It's a presence that we're trying to bring out from them. And I think everyone's got it within them. some come out quicker than others, but I think I'm pretty confident all these guys are going to be standing very tall at the end of this, and it's really going to change their lives.
Next time on Wimp to Warrior.
Okay guys, welcome to Wimp to Warrior. My name's Richie Cranny, I'm the head coach. I want to welcome you to what is your first training session today. This group of people that we're going to choose are going to really show the Australian public that, you know, mixed martial arts isn't this perception of thugs, you know, in a cage fight. There's been a few issues with some attendance in the last few weeks.
We don't have time. We've got 6 months to prepare somebody to fight in a cage who's never lifted weights before and who's never trained before. That's no easy feat.
If you're not committed to your training, to your coach, then you shouldn't be here. Hardest part of my job is going to be cutting you guys, okay? But you guys are going to make it very. I need to start cutting guys now. If they're not turning up to training, then I'm going to cut them. Okay, I've got 32 guys at the moment, 32 men and women, and I need 20 at the end.